All right, so you're thinking about maybe picking up a 2025 Chevrolet Colorado. Well, you've come to the right place because we've got expert reviews and specs and comparisons. Basically, all the info you need to decide if this is the right truck for you.
Yeah, and what really stands out to me about this year's Colorado is how Chevy is really focusing on making it a total value champ. It's not just about the sticker price. They're aiming for lower ownership costs down the line, too, which is something anybody buying a truck should be thinking about.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's one thing to get a good deal up front, but saving money in the long run, that's really what makes a difference. So let's get into how it actually performs.
Sure, so for the 2025 Colorado, Chevy has actually just gone with one engine option. It's a turbocharged 2.7-liter four-cylinder. But don't let that fool you. This thing cranks out a solid 310 horsepower, and get this, 430 pound-feet of torque.
Whoa. Okay, those are some pretty impressive numbers.
Yeah.
But like in real-world driving, what does that actually feel like?
Well, imagine you're merging onto like a busy highway. Maybe you're towing a small boat or something, and you need that extra oomph to get up to speed quickly. That's where this engine really shines. It gives you that confident acceleration you need, whether you're loaded down or just cruising solo.
Okay, you had me at towing a boat. But speaking of getting off the pavement, how does the Colorado handle itself when things get a little rougher?
That's another area where the Colorado really excels. It's designed with off-roading in mind. You've got your choice between rear-wheel drive, which comes standard on the WT and LT trims, or you can opt for all-wheel drive, which comes standard on the rest.
So you're telling me you could take this thing from city streets to mountain trails, no problem?
Absolutely. Like, let's say you come across a super rocky patch or you need to cross a stream bed. Colorado has this feature called an automatic locking rear differential. What that means is it sends power to both rear wheels equally, so you get that extra traction to get unstuck from those tricky situations.
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm no off-road expert, but even I can see how that would be super helpful. So let's switch gears a bit. What about towing and payload? How much can this thing actually haul?
All right, so the Colorado can tow up to 7,700 pounds and haul a payload of up to 7,710 pounds. That's enough to tow like a good-sized camper for a weekend trip, or haul a bunch of building materials for a project around the house.
Wow, sounds like it really lives up to its name. Built for adventure. But hauling all that weight got to affect fuel efficiency, right?
That's a good point. Official EPA estimates aren't out yet, but we're anticipating somewhere in the 17 to 21 millipere combined range, which is about average for its class. But the key here is Chevy designed this engine with fuel efficiency in mind. It uses tech like cylinder deactivation to save gas when you don't need all that power.
Right, so it's a balance between power and efficiency, not a bad compromise.
Right.
So after a long day of hauling or off-roading, I'm guessing you want a comfy cabin to relax in. What's the Colorado's interior like?
Chevy's definitely stepped up their game with the interior. You'll find good quality materials, although there might be some hard plastics in the lower trims. But that's pretty typical for trucks in this segment. The focus is really on functionality and comfort, especially in the crew cab design.
Spacious is good, especially if you got passengers. What about the legroom in the back?
Yeah, the front seats are super roomy and comfortable, no question. In the back, you've got 34.7 inches of legroom, which is decent for most folks. But if you're hauling around taller passengers, especially on longer trips, it might feel a bit cramped back there.
Yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind, especially for families with kids who are growing like weeds. Okay, let's talk about cargo space. How much can you actually fit in the bed of this thing?
So the Colorado comes with one bed length. It's 61.7 inches, which gives you 41.9 cubic feet of cargo volume. It's like having a small room back there.
Whoa, that's a lot of space. What if you need even more space, though? Does the Colorado offer any longer bed options?
It doesn't. If you need a longer bed, you might want to look at the Toyota Tacoma or the Nissan Frontier. They have different bed lengths to choose from. But keep in mind, those longer beds can make it tougher to maneuver in tight spots.
It's all about finding the right balance. Right. So we've covered performance and off-road capability and comfort and cargo space. But let's be real, value is a huge factor for most buyers.
Yeah.
How does the Colorado stack up in that department?
The Colorado really hits the sweet spot when it comes to value. And it's not just about the initial price tag, although it's competitive there too. Remember how we talked about Chevy focusing on low ownership costs?
Yeah, that definitely caught my attention.
Well, that's where the Colorado really shines. It's got strong resale value, so you'll get more money back when you trade it in or sell it. And it also tends to have lower maintenance costs than some of its rivals. When you add all that up, the Colorado's total cost of ownership is very attractive.
That's a huge plus these days. You want a truck that's not going to break the bank every time you turn around. Speaking of breaking the bank, we can't talk about cars without mentioning safety. What's the deal with the 2025 Colorado?
Yeah, safety's paramount. And the Colorado definitely delivers. It earned a 4 out of 5-star overall safety rating from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, which is very respectable.
That's good to hear. But what I'm really interested in are the safety features that come standard. What can drivers expect in that department?
Chevy's got you covered with a bunch of standard safety features. You'll find lane keep assist, lane departure warning, and forward collision alert, all designed to help prevent accidents.
That's peace of mind right there. Now, I understand there are 5 different trim levels for the 2025 Colorado. Can you walk us through those and tell us what makes each one unique?
Sure thing. We've got the WT, the LT, the Trail Boss, the Z71, and the ZR2, which is like an off-road beast of the group. Each trim level is designed for different needs and budgets.
I'm intrigued by the ZR2. What makes it so special for off-road enthusiasts?
Imagine tackling tough terrain with features like Multimatic DSSV dampers. They provide incredible control and articulation, allowing the wheels to move independently for max traction.
Okay, I'm starting to see why the ZR2 is so popular. What other off-road goodies does it come with?
Oh man, it's packed. We're talking front and rear electronic locking differentials for ultimate grip, a 2-inch factory lift for extra clearance, skid plates to protect the undercarriage from obstacles.
Whoa, sounds practically invincible. And I hear there's a special ZR2 Bison package, too.
You got it. The Bison package takes things to another level. Steel bumpers, extra skid plates, a winch-capable front bumper, basically everything you need to dominate even the toughest trails.
That's some serious off-road armor. No modern truck is complete without a great infotainment system, though. What's the Colorado rocking in that department?
The Colorado comes with an 11.3-inch touchscreen infotainment system. It's not just big, it's also incredibly responsive and intuitive. It has crisp graphics, so it's easy to see and navigate.
And I bet it has all the connectivity features we've come to expect these days, right?
Absolutely. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, so you can connect your smartphone and access all your apps and music and navigation. It's also got Google Assistant built in for voice commands, so you can keep your hands on the wheel and eyes on the road.
It really sounds like they've thought of everything.
Yeah.
But let's be real here. The Colorado's got some serious competition. How does it stack up against rivals like the Toyota Tacoma and the Ford Ranger?
That's the million-dollar question. The Tacoma, for example, has built this legendary reputation for reliability and resale value, and now it comes in a hybrid version for even better fuel economy.
So it's got some strong points for sure. What about the Ford Ranger?
The Ranger is a popular choice, too. It offers a comfortable ride and a punchy engine and a decent amount of tech. It's a well-rounded truck. But where the Colorado really shines is its combination of power towing capability and a more refined interior.
So it sounds like choosing the right truck really comes down to your own individual needs and priorities. If fuel economy is at the top of your list, the Tacoma's hybrid option might be appealing. But if power towing and interior comfort are more important, the Colorado seems to have the edge.
Exactly. It's all about finding the perfect fit for your lifestyle.
Okay, let's take a quick breather and recap what we've learned about the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado. We've covered its impressive engine, off-road prowess, spacious and comfortable interior, and strong value proposition. We've also touched on its impressive safety features and modern infotainment system.
It really is shaping up to be a capable and versatile truck.
Absolutely. But we're not done yet. There's still more to uncover about the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado.
In part 2 of our deep dive, we'll explore some of the potential drawbacks of the Colorado, and we'll take an even closer look at its standout features going beyond the basics to give you a true insider's perspective.
That's right. We'll be back in a flash to continue our exploration of the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado. Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive on the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado. We've spent a good chunk of time highlighting all the great things about this truck, but like with any vehicle, there are always some things to consider, some potential drawbacks that might make it not the perfect fit for everyone.
Yeah, that's true. No truck is perfect. And the Colorado definitely has a few areas where it might fall short, depending on what you need.
All right, let's dig into that. What are some things potential buyers should be aware of?
Well, we touched on rear legroom earlier. While it's decent for most people, those over 6 feet tall might feel a little cramped back there,
Right.
especially on long drives.
Right, that's definitely a good point. Something to keep in mind if you regularly have taller passengers.
Another thing is the Colorado only comes with one bed length. Now, the cargo volume is great for its size, but competitors like the Tacoma and Frontier have options for longer beds.
So if you're hauling lumber or bigger items, those trucks might be a better choice. But for everyday use and weekend adventures, Colorado's bed seems pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And while the Colorado's fuel economy is right there with its class, it's not exactly a gas sipper. Those 17 to 21 milliampere combined estimates we talked about are respectable, but not groundbreaking.
Yeah, especially with gas prices these days, fuel efficiency is on everybody's mind. Are there any fuel-saving features on the Colorado that might help offset that a bit?
Yeah, Chevy's included some fuel-saving tech like cylinder deactivation. This system shuts off some of the cylinders when they're not needed, like when you're cruising on the highway.
Yeah.
It helps to save gas without sacrificing power when you need it.
Makes sense. A good balance between performance and efficiency. Now let's shift gears a bit and focus on some of the Colorado's standout features. Earlier we touched on the infotainment system, but what makes it so special?
Well, one of the things that sets it apart is the size. That 11.3-inch touchscreen is one of the largest you'll find in its class. And it's not just about size, it's also super user-friendly.
I'm all about intuitive tech that's easy to use.
Me too. The layout is super clear, the graphics are sharp, and it responds quickly. Makes it a breeze to navigate menus and use all the features.
What about smartphone integration? That's a must-have for me these days.
The Colorado's got you covered. Wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are both standards. No more messing with cords.
That's a win in my book.
And it's also got Google Assistant built in, so you can use voice commands to make calls, send texts, get directions, all hands-free.
Pretty slick. Sounds like they've really thought of everything. And don't forget about that 11-inch digital instrument cluster.
Oh yeah, that's a great feature. You can customize it to show you all sorts of info. Speed, fuel level, tire pressure, off-road data.
Like having your own little command center right in front of you.
Exactly. And speaking of customization, the Colorado offers a ton of options to make it your own. You can choose from different colors, wheel designs, interior upholstery accessory packages.
So whether you want a rugged work truck, a sporty off-roader, a comfy daily driver, you can really personalize it to fit your style.
Absolutely. Now, before we move on, let's circle back to safety for a minute. We talked about that impressive safety rating, but I think it's worth highlighting some of the specific features that contribute to it.
Yeah, safety is a big deal. What are some of the features that stand out to you?
So the Colorado comes standard with forward collision alert. It uses sensors to detect potential collisions and warns you. And if you don't react in time, it can actually brake automatically to help avoid or reduce the severity of a crash.
That's pretty amazing, like having a co-pilot looking out for you.
Yeah, and to help keep you in your lane. It's got lane departure warning and lane keep assist as standard feature.
Those are especially helpful on long drives when you might get drowsy.
For sure. And then you've got pedestrian and cyclist detection. The system can actually spot pedestrians and cyclists and alert you or even brake if necessary.
That's awesome. It's great to see these advanced safety features becoming more common.
I agree. Chevy's really gone above and beyond to make the Colorado as safe as possible.
It sounds like the Colorado is shaping up to be a really well-rounded truck. It excels in so many areas, from performance and capability to comfort, technology, and safety.
Yeah, I think we've given listeners a good understanding of what the Colorado brings to the table. In Part 3, we'll break down the different trim levels in more detail, and we'll compare the Colorado head-to-head with its main competitors.
Can't wait to dive into that. Make sure to stick around for the final part of our deep dive on the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado. Okay, we're back for the final part of our 2025 Chevrolet Colorado deep dive. We've talked about its strengths and some things to consider and some of the standout features. Now let's break down the trim levels and really see how it compares to the competition.
Sounds good. So the 2025 Colorado comes in 5 different trim levels: the WT, the LT, the Trail Boss, a Z71, and the ZR2, which is the off-road king.
5 trims. Seems like Chevy is trying to cover all their bases, from work trucks to off-roaders.
Yeah, they've done a good job of giving buyers a lot of options. Each trim has a unique combination of features and capabilities, at different price points, of course. Let's start with the base model, the WT, which stands for work truck.
Yeah, the no-frills option.
Yeah.
For people who need a truck to get the job done.
Exactly. The WT is all about functionality and value. It comes with 17-inch steel wheels, cloth upholstery, a 6-way manually adjustable driver's seat, power windows and locks, push-button start, and even that big 11.3-inch infotainment touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Wow. So even the base model isn't lacking in the tech department.
Nope, not at all. If you want a little more comfort and convenience, there's the LT trim.
What kind of upgrades does the LT have?
The LT adds a front center console, rear air vents, proximity, keyless entry, and alloy wheels. It also has a remote locking tailgate, which is super convenient.
Those are definitely some nice additions.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the off-road trims. The Trail Boss sounds pretty rugged.
Oh yeah, the Trail Boss is where things start to get serious. It comes standard with 18-inch wheels and off-road suspension with a 2-inch factory lift. Hill descent control an automatic locking rear differential and a 2-speed transfer case.
Hold on a second. I know some of our listeners might not be familiar with all those off-road terms.
You're right. So that 2-inch lift gives you extra ground clearance so you can go over bigger obstacles. Hill descent control helps you maintain a safe speed when you're going down steep hills. And that automatic locking rear differential we talked about before, that makes sure both rear wheels are getting power so you have more traction on uneven terrain.
Gotcha. So the Trail Boss is ready for pretty much anything you throw at it off-road.
Pretty much. And then there's the Z71 trim. It's a step up from the Trail Boss in terms of both capability and features.
What makes the Z71 different?
The Z71 doesn't have that 2-inch lift, but it still has some serious off-road chops. It adds LED lighting, heated power adjustable side mirrors, and a nicer interior with cloth and synthetic leather upholstery.
So it's more comfortable for daily driving, but still ready to get dirty.
Exactly. And then at the top of the lineup, we have the ZR2. This is the ultimate Colorado off-roader.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about the ZR2. What makes it so special?
The ZR2 is designed for people who really love off-roading. It comes with Multimatic DSSV dampers, which provide incredible control and articulation. You also get front and rear locking differentials, 33-inch all-terrain tires, a trailer brake controller, an 8-way power-adjustable driver's seat, heated front seats, and a whole bunch of other goodies.
It sounds like the ZR2 is in a class of its own when it comes to off-roading. And what about that Bison package? What does that add?
The Bison package is for the most extreme off-roaders. It adds steel bumpers, front and rear extra skid plates, a winch-capable front bumper, and even bigger 35-inch mud-terrain tires.
Wow, that's insane. It sounds like it could climb mountains.
It's definitely built for serious adventure. So as you can see, there's a Colorado trim level for everyone, from the budget-conscious buyer to the hardcore off-road enthusiast.
Yeah, Chevy has really done a great job of offering a variety of choices. Okay, now let's talk about the competition. How does the Colorado compare to the Toyota Tacoma and the Ford Ranger?
That's the big question, right? And it's not an easy one to answer. Each truck has its own strengths and weaknesses. It really comes down to what you're looking for.
Let's start with the Tacoma. It's been the king of this segment for a long time.
Yeah, the Tacoma is known for its reliability and resale value. It also has a hybrid powertrain option, which is something neither the Colorado nor the Ranger offer.
So if fuel economy is your top priority, the Tacoma is probably the way to go. What about off-roading? The Tacoma's pretty good off-road too, right?
Yeah, the Tacoma TRD Pro is a very capable off-roader, but when it comes to the most hardcore off-roading, the Colorado ZR2 is the clear winner. It just has more advanced features and technology.
So Colorado wins in the off-road department. What about the Ford Ranger?
The Ranger is a solid truck overall. It's comfortable to drive, it's got a good engine, and it has decent tech. It also gets slightly better fuel economy than the Colorado.
So Ranger wins in the fuel economy department. But what about things like interior space and design?
The Colorado generally has a more spacious and refined interior than the Ranger. The design is more modern, and the materials are nicer in some areas.
It sounds like it's a pretty close call between the Colorado and the Ranger.
Yeah, they're both great trucks. It really comes down to your personal preferences.
And of course, we can't forget about the Tacoma with its reliability and hybrid option. There are a lot of great choices in this segment.
Absolutely. Buyers are spoiled for choice these days.
Right. So to wrap things up, what are the key takeaways you want listeners to remember about the 2025 Chevrolet Colorado?
The 2025 Colorado is a very capable and well-rounded truck. It's got a good balance of performance, off-road ability, comfort, technology, and safety. And with 5 different trim levels, there's a Colorado for everyone.
Chevy's clearly done their homework with this truck. They've addressed a lot of the issues people had with previous models, and they've really stepped up their game in terms of design, technology, and features.
As you're thinking about the 2025 Colorado, think about what's most important to you. What do you absolutely need in a truck? What are you willing to compromise on? Test drive the Colorado and compare it to its competitors. That's the best way to make sure you're making the right decision.
We've given you a lot of information in this deep dive, but the best way to really get to know the Colorado is to experience it firsthand. Go out there, test drive a few trucks, and find the one that's perfect for you.
Happy truck hunting.
And until next time, keep on diving.